Good evening everyone, welcome to Abhiram Ias Academy. This is Pavani Reddy Palla. I'm here to discuss the Daily Chronicles series. Any topic related to defense or these type of exercises are the favorite topics of the UPSC. So we need to remember certain important facts. Okay, so let us go into the details. Of the topic. So it is Indian Navy's biennial capstone theoretical level operational exercise. So this operation generally takes place once in 2 years, conducted in the Indian Ocean region. Okay, so there is a combined participation fleet of around 65 Indian Navy ships. We have 9 submarines and 80 aircrafts have combinedly participated in this Indian Navy exercise. So the forces which participated are the Indian Army, Indian Air Force and also Indian Coastal Guard assets. So we have seen the participation of these services. So what is the significance of these type of exercises? Generally it is to project the Indian capabilities to the global arena. Okay, and also to make sure that India is ready at the time of crucial maritime threats. So for this purpose, the Tropics 25 exercise has been conducted in the Indian Ocean region. Okay. So now let us go with the second topic, that is the private bill. So the private bills seek sitting of parliament for 100 days a year. So let us start with the basics. We all know that at the central level we have the Union Parliament. So Parliament primarily consists of the President, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. So the President is the first citizen of the nation as well as the constitutional head, and the Lok Sabha is also called as the House of People, where the people directly elect the member of parliament to the Lok Sabha once in every 5 years. So in 2024 May we had general elections for the member of parliament, so MP for the Lok Sabha. So the Rajya Sabha is also called as the Council of States, where the state elected MLAs will in turn elect the MPs or members of parliament to the Rajya Sabha. So these three parts together constitute the parliament. Okay, so who is private member? Private member is an MP who is not part of a ministry, So the private member is an member of parliament who is not part of the ministry. Okay, so let us study the basic characteristics of the private bills. So private member bills are introduced by the MPs who is not a minister. So it is introduced on Friday. So yesterday was a Friday, so in the Rajya Sabha it was introduced. So it can be introduced in either house of parliament, which means it can be Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so for the introduction of the private member bill, at least prior notice of 1 month should be given. See, this question is very important for us in the prelims point of view. Okay, so in the prelims they may ask us that discuss the important characteristics or the features of the private member bills, and they may give these type of options. We have to choose the correct ones. Okay, so these are some important points regarding to the private member bills, and you have to remember that the passage of the private member bill is very less. Only approximately 4% of the private member bills have been passed till now. Okay, so around some 17-18 bills approximately have been passed in the parliament. Okay, so what happened yesterday? So yesterday in the Rajya Sabha by O'Brien and the Manoj Kumar Jha, they introduced a private member bill seeking that minimum of 100 sitting days have to be introduced in the parliament per annum. Okay, so minimum of 100 sitting days in the sessions need to be implemented in the parliament. So earlier this type of suggestions has been given by the General Purpose Committee of the Lok Sabha in 1955, as well as the National Commission to Review Working of the Constitution in 2002. So this topic, you can use these points in the mains point of view to tell the effectiveness or the functioning of the parliament. Okay, so in that topic you can use these points. Now let us see the next one. So next one is the equitable distribution. Okay, so with the heading technology and the challenge of equitable education. So equitable education is nothing but the quality education provision to the privileged as well as the underprivileged. So who is the author? The Madhav Chavan, who is a co-founder of Pratham. So what is Pratham? It is one of the largest NGO for providing quality education to the underprivileged. Okay, so it is co-founded by Madhav Chavan as well as Farida. So these two together has launched one of the largest education NGO. So this Pratham will give the annual status of education report every year. So this is very important report which we can be using it in the education related questions or in the general essay. Okay. So we'll go into the further details. So this NGO Pratham gives us the annual status of education report, which focuses on the learning outcomes of the school students in the rural India. So it is based on the survey conducted in 18,000 villages across 605 rural districts. So it provides us the authenticity of the survey of the rural India education status. Okay, so they have conducted the survey regarding the reading and arithmetic skills among the different age groups, that is to 5 to 16 years age group. Next, so when does this report has been launched? It is in the 2005, where it tracks the educational trends as well as the challenges in the rural area. Its main focus is on the coverage, focus and frequency of education quality and standards. Next, what are the focus area of the report 2024? So we have number 1, the enrollment of children. Number 2, we have the learning outcomes, and number 3, we have the digital literacy. Okay, so this now we have all the important key findings of the report 2024. So let us try to remember and make note of the important key findings which are very important, which we can quote it in our examinations. Okay, so the enrollment ratio is 98.2% in 2022, which was decreased to 98.1 in 2024, with the decreasing trend in the government schools also, that is from 72.9 to 66.8% in the government schools. So we can understand from this point that there is a decreasing trend of the enrollment. So you have to blindly remember this. Next, arithmetic abilities are being improving or increasing than the reading skills in the children, school going children, where the fastest progress is shown in the government schools than the private schools. And the next is the digital literacy. So digital literacy, we have again sub points, that is access, ownership, use and the digital safety. So 90% of the students of 14 to 16 years have the access to smartphones, where boys have 86% of access, girls of 80% girls are having access to the smartphones. Number 2 is the ownership. So 27% of 14-year-old and 37.8% of 16-year-olds are having their own smartphones. Okay, next, usage. So 82% of children are able to use and handle the smartphones. So among them, 57% are using it for education and 76% are using it for the social media. Okay. Next, the digital safety. So 62% children know how to block or report the profiles, and 55.2% know the profiles to make them private. Other important facts which are to be remembered are the attendance. So attendance have been increased from 72.4 in 2018 to 75.9 in 2024. Next, girls' toilet usability is also increased from 66.4 to 72% in 2024. So this is also a good significant change. And the drinking water availability rose from 74.8% to 77.7%. And now, the use of non-textbook books, example, we have the novels, short stories, folk tales, etc. by the students increased from around 37% to 51%. Next, the percentage of schools with playgrounds remained stable around 66%. So there is no much significant change in the availability of the playgrounds. So these are very important facts which are to be remembered, which are very important for our education related questions as well as for the general essay. Next, we have one important article related to economy, that is the Monetary Policy Committee. So we have two important articles, one in the first page as well as in the editorial we have growth over inflation articles. So what is this monetary policy decision? So monetary policy is the committee which decides upon the policy rates. It is related to the inflation target as well as to boost the economic growth. So the policy rates will decide the control of the inflation as well as for the boosting of the Indian economy. Okay, so it is a 6-member committee headed by the RBI governor. Who is the current governor of RBI? Sanjay Malhotra. Okay, so under the ex officio chairmanship of the Sanjay Malhotra, this key decision has been taken. So based on which factors the Monetary Policy Committee is taking the decision? It is number one, the inflation control, number 2, the status of the economic growth in India, number 3, the liquidity management. Means what? The status of the financial system which is supporting the consumers or the entrepreneurs. Next, number 4 is the interest rate management. So based on these we decide the policy rates. So one important decision which is taken by Monetary Policy Committee is the repo rate reduction. So first of all, what is repo rate? Repo rate is nothing but the rate, the interest rate through which the RBI is lending the money to the banks. See, we all take money from the banks, but from where banks are getting money, that is RBI is giving. So RBI gives money to the banks at certain interest rate. That is called as repo rate. And these banks will give money to the customers like us. Includes the repo rate and certain commission for banking. Okay, so repo rate plus commission is the interest rate we are paying to the banks. So what is repo rate? RBI is giving amount to the banks at certain interest rate. That interest rate is called as repo rate. So what is the major decision which has been taken? So first time in nearly 5 years there has been unanimous decision by the Monetary Policy Committee to reduce the repo rate by 25 basis point. So earlier it was 6.50%, now it is 6.25%. Okay. So what will happen? So if now RBI is giving the banks at a lesser interest rate, so banks in turn will give the customers at a lesser interest rate. Okay. So the customers or the entrepreneurs or for buying a car or home for any other purpose, these lesser interest rate will be a motivation. Okay. So in that way this decision is going to affect the economic activity in the India. So that is how this policy is going to create a change in the Indian economy. Okay. So what are the other important projections by the MPC? Number one is the growth projection. So they have projected the growth of this particular fiscal year as 6.4. So what is a fiscal year? Fiscal year means 1st April 2024 to 31st March 2025 is the current fiscal year. Okay. So what is the growth rate projected by the MPC? It is 6.4%, and for the coming fiscal year it ranges around 6.3 to 6.8. Okay. Next, the inflation trend. So the inflation trend is, in December we have around 5.22% of inflation, and averaging the entire fiscal year it is around 4.2. Okay. In the next fiscal year we have around 4.2% of inflation projected. Okay, projected by the MPC. So the next important chronicle for today is the major announcements to be made during Prime Minister's France visit. So in the next week our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to meet the French President Emmanuel Macron. So in their meeting they are about to discuss about few important priority areas. They are like the defense, the small modular reactors, and we have the deal for 26 Rafale M fighter jets, and also Narendra Modi is going to co-chair the AI Action Summit along with the French President Emmanuel Macron. So there are important decisions which are to be taken in the areas of defense, in the areas of AI. So this is one important thing which you have to be aware of. Okay. Another important one related to the economy part is the new income tax bill gets approval from the Union Cabinet. So Union Cabinet headed by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given approval to the new income tax bill. So recently in the budget speech by the Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman Garu, so she has announced about the new income tax bill. So this income tax bill is going to replace the 6 decades old IT Act. So in the coming days it is going to be introduced in the Parliament, and then it is going to go for the standing committee for suggestions and feedback. Okay, so these are important articles in the today's Hindu newspaper. So that's it for today. Please like and subscribe to Abhiram Ias Academy. See you tomorrow.